So this is just a little introduction to what this course really is, webinar, course, whatever you want to call it. Basically, I have some knowledge that has helped me overcome some things, and I'd like to share it with you. And if you're looking at this hair note, it's, we all have hair days, but I honestly just ran the kids to school and people were waving and smiling. I'm like, oh, I must look cute. And then I came home, my hair's all sticking out. I'm like, they were laughing at me. See, I got some flyaways. But that's okay, because we all have bad hair days. So that's what I'm here to talk about. Now, I was watching Les Brown yesterday, and he said, don't say you're having a bad day. Say you're having a character building day. So I like that. And by the way, my hair looks all crazy because I went to the hot springs yesterday, and this is how I went to sleep, and this is how I woke up. So I haven't showered and all that yet. But that's what's great about making videos from home. Nobody can smell me. Anyway, so there's a really good book, if you're a reader. It's called Your Word is Your Wand, and it's by Florence Scovel Shinn. And it's a real quick read. I read it in like a couple hours. Real thin book, so even if you're not an avid reader, you could read it in a day. But basically what I want to talk about is your word. Basically, Wayne Dyer says when you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. Well, if you're a person who has had some trauma and bad experiences, maybe you grew up in a negative family, when we squeeze you, what's going to come out? Negative emotion. So here's an example. Yesterday I was at the hot springs, and it's been almost 20 years since I've been home to Michigan. So I'm from Flint, and I did visit, about 12 years ago. It's been too long. So recently I was going to actually go visit, but I was in Philadelphia, New York, and Toronto, so I was all around it, but there was no time to do it. So while I was in the hot springs yesterday, I realized that if I went to dinner with any of my friends from Michigan or my family, they wouldn't even know who I am. And I don't think they've changed much, but I don't know. I haven't seen them in 20 years. But this brought me to who I am now. And when I was 7, my mom used to do a meditation with me. And it's very similar to Teal Swan's completion process. So I'm actually going to wind up this course. Because step 2 of Teal's process, you go in and kind of create your own stuff. But what I'm going to do for the benefit of the group, I'm going to just lead you the way my mom led me, and then leave a few spaces for variances. So we look forward to that. And I'm going to call that the integration process, because that's where, in that meditation, everything that we've talked about in this whole seminar, which hopefully won't go over an hour. It might though. If it does, thank you for sticking with me. And I'm designing it so you can come back and watch it at different parts. So you don't have to sit through an hour and a half or 2 hours or an hour, whatever it is. You can do it 20 minutes at a time. So that being said, I used to do this meditation with my mom when I was 7. And then when I was about 10 or 11, I started doing Emmett Fox meditations. So my mom had a collection of Emmett Fox tapes, and I think she had bought them at her church. And so we always went to open-minded spiritual churches. And Emmett Fox would do visualization techniques, and so we would do the different chakras. So I guess what I've realized is that I didn't need yoga certification to be a meditation teacher. And then I went and I learned quantum healing hypnosis technique. This is a very awesome technique, but it has some limitations. One of the limitations is that it must be done in person. And affordability, the practitioners I've looked at charge between $250 and $400 depending on their level of experience and I guess where they live, their region. So here in Colorado, people I've seen are like $375. So I had placed myself at $350 before I even looked to see, because intuitively that's what I felt. Now I do discounts for military, other spiritual workers, different things. Other hypnotherapists, I'll switch sessions with you, so whatever your technique is, or if it's QHHT. Depending on what your practice is, I'm willing to trade a lot of different practices. So if you're watching this as a spiritual teacher just because you're trying to expand, like I often do. We That's a possibility. I give a discount also to military, police, first responders. It's the same discount. It's $100, and this is for my weddings too. So my weddings are $250, and if you're one of those people that gets the discount, it'd be instead of $250, it'd be $150. And then I do tarot card readings. I'm calling that loosely because it's much more than that. It's basically kind of like, I'm going to call this theta love healing. So I kind of combine some of the meditative relaxation of QHHT with theta healing by Vianna Stibel, which I'm not certified in, but I have I have 3 of her books, and I saw her in person, and I may certify later if I feel that's necessary. But I just kind of combine all this. I put it into what I call a tarot card reading, and this is my favorite deck, but I have several. I had more, but my mom and my daughter and I, we kind of switched. But I'm certified with Doreen Virtue. This is one of her decks. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know why. Here we go. Better lighting. So, I guess that's as good as it gets. I have those. If you have money blocks, basically anything you can think of that you're going through, I've either went through it or know somebody who has and went through it with them or helped them through it the best I could. So, back to what I was going with. So, your thoughts create your actions. Your words create your reality. What you speak becomes your truth. So, if you're a religious person, think of the Bible, and God created all the things in the 7 days with His voice. So, how is this possible? Everything is a vibrational energy at its root, at its core. So, whatever's going on in here is projecting out here, okay? So, Einstein and a few other people have proven that what we live in is a hologram we're creating. Technically, I should be able to put my hand through this wall and go through it. I should be able to stick my hand in here. Oh, shouldn't have done that. I took a picture of myself. Anyway, but again, we're at the microcosmic level. All we are is energy. And this is just an outward projection of this energy. So your thoughts, your words, your actions become very important because they set your intentions. So during a QHHT session, the most important thing I can do is when the client or the friend or the family member, whoever it is I'm setting the appointment with, as soon as I set the appointment and I write it in the space for them, I set the intention that my higher self, my God self, my connection to Source will connect with their higher self, their God selves, and that they will work this out for us, and I let it go right there. Then, again, right before the person comes, I put the Pyramid of White Protection Light. If you're not familiar with this, all it is you bring down a bright, beautiful white pyramid full of bright, beautiful, sparkling, shimmering, shiny light. And you imagine that it's engulfing your entire being from head to underneath your body. So if you're sitting in a chair, it's under your feet and encompassing all of you laying on a bed. All of your being is in this pyramid. And what this pyramid is it's your protection. It protects you emotionally, spiritually, physically. No harm can come to you. Okay? So you can do this anytime you need to. And if you don't realize it, you just did it now by following my visualization. But I honestly like to do this a few times a day just to make sure that anything negative out there. Another thing you can do, you have a silver cord, so you can kind of imagine like an umbilical cord. You have a silver cord that connects you to Source. This is like your lifeline. You can imagine it coming out of your head. I like to imagine it coming out of my solar plexus because that's the womb. But for a man, maybe you don't have that connection, or if you haven't had children, I don't know. So whatever's more comfortable, you can even have it coming through your heart, whatever's comfortable for you. Now, if you know of twins, triplets, or multiple births, they are connected by a gold cord, and I haven't confirmed it, but I think that the mother is got like a light, it's not as strong, but there's kind of a light golden, kind of like a dotted line. So you'd have a solid gold line. Oh, kind of like the book right there. So that would be your solid line. And then next to it, you see I got the little dotted colors. And it's not as fluid, but it's still there. So that would be an example. And these cords connect us to spirit, to source. So anybody that has multiples, like twins, triplets, quadruplets, you know how special they are. They have their own language, they communicate telepathically, you can see it. It's really awesome. So, anytime you're feeling negative, there's two things you can do. You can visualize big scissors cutting away what look like little cobwebs. These are the connections to other people. So what I like to do is I visualize that I'm holding my silver cord. Now don't worry, you can't cut the silver cord. I just imagine that I'm holding it and I just kind of cut around and I cut everything but it. Then what I do, if I'm working with certain people, that I still feel that we need to keep our energies connected to positively influence us, like my children, my boyfriend, fiance, whatever he is. We've been doing this for 4 years off and on, so kind of decided that there's something that keeps bringing us back and we're going to work on it. So, that being said, if there's people that you love and care about, you can let that connection stay. But what I like to do first is just cut all cords, then reconnect the people I love. So I'll kind of just visualize my 5 kids, my boyfriend, my mom, whoever I want to be connected with me. Wayne Dyer, I connect with him a lot. I love Wayne Dyer. Yeah, it was really sad he passed over. But honestly, now I get to talk to him. Anyway, so if you're not familiar with QHHT, there's another video that kind of explains it. But basically, we just use hypnosis to take you into theta. Theta and delta are where healing happens. So if you're not familiar with the cycles, beta is fully awake. That would be like right now where I'm talking. You may be an alpha because you're watching me. That's where when you're watching TV, you kind of sink into a slightly suggestive mode. Then the next mode is theta. Some people are what's called somnambulistic, and they just go under completely, like they're sleeping, and then they listen to the tape later and they're like, wow, I said all that. Other people stay conscious and they just follow along as the subconscious guides the session. Either way is very effective. When I do my own hypnosis, I go so deep I just fall asleep. Now I do dream and I go places and I see things, but I have to quickly write them down or talk about them or I forget them. So you may be one of those, but that's where a practitioner comes in. So if you don't live in Colorado Springs, just check it out because there's people around. And if you can find someone that's level 1, they're probably not charging yet, or if they are, they'll be charging less money. They have the technique, they just need a little more practice. So work with them a few times, give them their practice. And that'll help you just guide what you're supposed to be doing, which we all already know what we're supposed to be doing. This technique just gives you confirmation. And that's why I like it better than the tarot cards, because the tarot cards is me connecting to my higher self for you. QHHT puts you in touch with your higher self, so it's a lot more beneficial for everybody involved. Anyway, so kind of look over some things. Louise Hay is really good with mirror work, and basically what you want to be doing is reframing what you're thinking into a positive mindset. Now, if you're a fan of The Secret, they have most of it down. So that's a good start, but then what I'm going to tell you to do is add emotion. What you're feeling is what you're attracting. So what you're thinking and projecting, your mind is visualizing, then you're feeling this. That's why fear is so powerful. So think about the mother that fears her child's going to get hurt, and then they do. It's confirmed. I never really worried about my kids. They had a couple little minor breaks and bruises, but overall my kids have been pretty healthy. The car accidents have been very minor because, you know, they're teenagers. But I was worried about Carrie, and I had to just release it. And she did actually roll off a mountain in a car, but she was perfectly safe. And thankfully, I didn't even know about it till afterwards, because I would have freaked out. I would have made it worse with my fear. So that's where I'm going with this. We have 2 basic emotions, love or fear. So anytime you feel anxiety, fear coming over you, I just want you to visualize, if you're a Star Trek fan, awesome, you know, beam me up, Scotty. If you're not, visualize from the earth up to what you imagine to be the heavens, a tube of white light. And at any time that's your connection, it's grounding you to Mother Earth and to Source, the creator of all that is, okay? So some of you call that being God, but I don't want to get religious here because I don't care what your religion is. There's one creator of all that is. There's one universe, and we're all one with it. We're all connected, okay? So, interwoven tapestry. God sees it as a big rug, okay? So he has the overview of all the beautiful woven tapestries. Maybe we're right here in the little gold field, which might be the desert to us, and we're trying to get over to the gold, or from the gold to the red, which is paradise or whatever. So just know that on this tapestry, you choose where you want to live. So the things I'm teaching you here with the diet, that's going to detox you. I'll get into a little bit of, so I'm going to tell you what not to eat. I'll do a video on what you should be eating, what kind of herbs you want. And if you're in Colorado Springs, I can tell you exactly where to shop. Some of these are chains, so great, you probably have it local. If not, if some of these things that are available to me, maybe not to you, I will go buy it for you. I'll send you the receipt and the postage and all that, and then you can just PayPal me. And the way I do that is I'll go buy everything, and then I ship it, you PayPal it the same day. We just do an interchange. So, that being said, I will help you. I will support you in any way. Mindset. That's the big thing to work on right now. And right before you go to sleep, it's really good to set the intention that you're going to have a great night's sleep. Your guides are going to come to you in your dreams, and they're going to show you everything you need to know, and then set the intention for what you need to get done the next day. And if you don't have specific things, I like to keep it very open. Tomorrow's going to be a great positive day, and I'm going to get a lot done towards my life's purpose. That's a great intention to set right before you go to sleep, because then depending on how long you sleep, your subconscious has all that time to put that stuff into place for you. Because what we really want to do is we want to grab all this information in, throw it to our subconscious, and let it deal with it. Then we want to live in what I like to call flow. And what flow is that your subconscious, your God self, is guiding your life. Then what happens is you'll notice you have those days when everything just flows like magic. You don't stress, you don't feel any worry. Money magically comes, like somebody just gives you 20, 50 bucks for no reason. You're like, yay, or somebody that owed you that you thought was never going to pay you, pays you back. So that's living in flow. And the way you get there is your mindset. So Your Word is Your Wand is a great book. Another book, if you're struggling, Think and Grow Rich. It's really old, so you can download it. It's like $5. And then there's another one, The Impersonal Self. Wayne Dyer recommends that. Anything by Wayne Dyer, anything by Hay House that you're drawn to. If you're really struggling with money, Nancy Levin has both a book and a course, Worthiness. I was actually going to attend it in Maui, but it conflicted with in Ontario a bit. And I kind of had this much money and I have this much money, and I want my money back up here. So I'm going to actually do, the EFT tapping that I do with you for happy. You can do that for money. So you could even, while we're doing it to happy, you could tap along with however much money you need. So I found one on YouTube that she taps to 20,000. I started doing it. My daughter got a large sum of money. Actually, I'm a little over 20. And then I got a sum of money, and honestly, together we got 60,000. So I 3-timed it. So I'm doing it again. I just keep doing the 20, because if I get 20,000 every couple months, I'm doing great. And if you're doing this for material reasons, it's not going to work. So this is where intention comes in. My intention is to get rich, because I have such big goals. I need money to get there. And my goals involve making this planet a better place for everyone to live on. So when you have an intention like that, where, yes, you're doing your heart's desire, but when your heart's desire is in alignment with oneness, things start clicking like magic, okay? So, bad hair day, no more, okay? And if you wake up and your hair looks like this and you want to have it like that, you know what? Do it with pride. People were waving and smiling at me. I was like, I must look cute. This is how I was driving around. And I drive an old Jeep, so they weren't looking at that, okay? So, how you feel inside reflects outside, and that's all that matters. And if you're still caught up in what other people think of you, then you really need to do this whole session and really get into your core self, because what we're looking for is to expose the truth of who you are at your God self core. Alright, so your word is your wand, your thoughts create your reality, and if you don't know that you're a manifester, you need to learn. So the way Oprah puts it, So imagine this glass of water. If I dump this glass of water into the ocean, it goes back into the source of all, right? The ocean's connected to all the water. Now, I refill this cup. Now, let's go one step further. This cup had water in it. I dumped the water. I refilled it. It's all brand new water. But it's all the same water because it came from the same source. So this water in this cup, this is your God self while you're apart. Now you can have this cup half full or half empty. And this glass, this is just the skin suit you're wearing. So it's my favorite analogy of how we're all one, okay? And you may notice with certain people you finish each other's sentences, and here's a great example. My ex-husband was in Alaska and I was in Seattle, Washington. We were both having a really bad day because I forgot my phone. He couldn't get a hold of me. He could sense I was having a bad day. I could sense he was having a bad day. We were causing each other a bad day. Knowing what I know now, I would have just said, okay, I forgot my phone, and I would have channeled love energy to him. He would have known to do the same because we would have talked about this. And instead of both of us having a shit day, we would have had a great day. So that's what I want to teach you, the power of the mind. So all of you parents out there or military, you're separated from your loved ones, you can do this at any time. And energy, whatever you're thinking and projecting onto that loved one, they feel it, okay? And I don't know if you've ever been just sitting there and all of a sudden you just fill up with love. It's probably because a loved one's thinking of you. And even to confirm this further, let's say you're sitting there and you fill up with love and you think about, say, your grandma. And then you get a message from her on Facebook, or she calls and you haven't heard from her in a few days or, a few weeks, depending on your relationship. So this is just confirmation. So there's no such thing as coincidence. And there's some great books by James Redfield, The Celestine Prophecy, The 10th Insight, Finding Shambhala. Those are my 3 favorites. I actually have them on my shelf right now. Conversations with God by Neil Diamond Walsh. These are just some books. If you're not really believing what I'm saying right now and you're only half processing it, please go elsewhere, go to other teachers, because here's what you're going to find. We're all saying the same thing, but we're putting it in different words, different terms. We have our own ways of presenting it. The only thing I differ, my specialty is I have the No Effing Scott, and I add this and then Compio. So Compio is Kundalini, Pilates, yoga. I combine it, and so you'll see the dances we do. I don't have any Pilates in there, so maybe I'll look at adding some Pilates. I'll do the yoga swing for you guys. So when I do the yoga, I'll show you the core stuff. And if you don't have a yoga swing, I get them from Taiwan for like $50. I was selling them for a while. It got tedious trying to track them, and I ended up giving people money back a few times. And I was just like, I don't want to do this. So I do love the swing though. So I just recommend where you can get it. So if you want to get the swing and practice, you can do that. There's some great videos. You don't even need to do mine. And, I'm not going to apologize that the quality of my videos is kind of weak. I'm just getting started at this. The main thing is I get the message out to you. As my message gets stronger, my skills grow, my talents increase, my video production will get better, and as I earn money from this, I'll have more money to spend. So, I've currently spent like $60,000 of my own money towards developing this process. And I don't have any regrets. I would do it all over again. If I was on Shark Tank right now selling my product to them, I know I could do it. The only thing is, marketing's where I suck. So any marketing people out there, it's not creating the package, it's getting the word out. So if anyone wants to help me there, I'm more than willing to take on partners. And I do have partners right now. I have a chef who can cook anything, and we're looking to create a vegan menu that, like, say you went to Taco Bell, you could order anything on the menu, but it's vegan, and it tastes awesome, it's organic, it's delicious. And she also wants to serve meats and stuff, so what we're going to do is, again, we're going to have 2 grills. So we're going to have our vegan setup, and then we're going to have our carnivore setup, keep them separate. And our meat is going to be hand-fed, wheat-fed, grass-fed, cows raised the way our grandparents raised them. No GMOs, no toxins, natural water source, and they get love the entire time they're alive. And when they go to be sacrificed, it's just like the Jewish tradition where they're blessed and thanked for their service. So I'm not telling everybody you have to be vegan, because I do think that a lot of us should be. Like, I'm a type A blood, A positive blood type. So if you follow the blood type diet, which I think works great because it's actually going with aligning with your body, I can eat a small amount of fish, and dairy is actually good for me. I like dairy. I've tried to be a vegan, but I love cheese. I will not drink milk, but I love cheese. I can give up all dairy except cheese, and now I found this butter. It's Kerrygold butter from Ireland. I want to actually go visit the farm because I love butter so much. I just want to go see for myself how it's done. And yeah, so nutrition. I'm so into it. I'm going to open a restaurant. I have 2 partners on board. Now, the other partner is design marketing. That's what he's good at. We just haven't been able to get our heads together yet for him to help market me. So I do have a little bit of help there. And he's also like our handyman. He's converting. We have a 1945 bus we're converting. So it's going to be really awesome. And, you know, if I can do it, I overcame cancer, PTSD, bipolar, suicidal depression. The only thing I still am playing with is anxiety. And the only reason I haven't let this go is because 90% of the time now when I feel anxiety, it's somebody else's anxiety. And I use it as a guide. I tune into it and I say, all right, whose anxiety is this? Is there anything I can do to assist them? And then I release the anxiety because I don't need to feel it anymore. And then what happened is I can kind of keep in touch with this person emotionally, spiritually. And if I feel the anxiety off and on, I can tune into it and I just send them love energy. And I don't know for sure that it works, but I was doing this for my ex-husband and his wife, and they had some addiction issues that I don't feel like they have them anymore. And I don't know for sure. I obviously have no way I can prove this. But for over a year now I've been doing this, and what I do is I visualize white light around them, hugging each other, happy. And they can't do that when they're on drugs because it interferes. So now I'm going to use the term drugs loosely. The only thing I don't consider a drug is marijuana. I consider it a medicine. Alcohol, prescriptions, over-the-counters, anything that puts you out. Methamphetamines, heroin, crack, all that stuff. Cocaine, it's all drugs to me. But marijuana has healed. It's proven it works. So the times I was suicidal, the thing that saved me is that somebody would make me sit down and smoke, and a joint later I wasn't suicidal anymore. So I'm sorry, but I advocate the 420. In fact, I'm the 420 Reverend on Facebook. So I love you. Thank you for listening. And your word is your wand. You can create magic from within your being. If you're a follower of The Secret, add emotion to whatever it is, and intent. You need to be intent. It has to be in alignment with goodness. Now, I know there's 1% that's seemingly opposite. Their reign is soon to be over, okay? It went to the farthest extreme, the yin and the yang, and now it's going to come back to the middle and then to the far side of the goodness, because we're going to shine light, okay? So right now we're over here, it's a little shady. We're moving into the light, all right? This is love. Love, yay, remember love? This is fear. So bring your love into the light. Bring the light into your love. All right.